The jungle is alive with secrets. Some you hear, others you feel, and a few were never meant to be found at all. For decades, this movie has stalked pop culture as one of the most iconic sci-fi thrillers ever made. But behind the mud, the muscles, and the monster lies a hidden story of accidents, improvisation, and pure cinematic madness. Today, we're stepping deep into the forest to uncover the buried truths that slipped past even the sharpest fans. So strap in, keep your eyes on the trees, and remember, if it bleeds, we can kill it. These are 20 weird facts about Predator. Number 1. The Predator's glowing green blood wasn't the result of some elaborate Hollywood formula. It was a desperate on-set improvisation. Stan Winston's team had tried multiple fluorescent paints, gels, and dyes, but none of them popped under the thick jungle canopy. In frustration, someone cracked open a glow stick and smeared the liquid on a prop. Under camera lights, it exploded with the perfect otherworldly shine. The crew immediately mixed the glow stick fluid with KY jelly to thicken it, creating the final bioluminescent effect seen on screen. It looked alien, cheap, and brilliant. The mixture wasn't safe to ingest, but it didn't need to be. The glow was all that mattered. Predator's blood became iconic thanks to a $1 children's novelty toy. Number 2. Sonny Landham, who played the stoic and terrifyingly intuitive Billy, carried a reputation almost as intense as his on-screen presence. His temper was so unpredictable that Paramount and Fox refused to ensure the production unless the actor had a full-time bodyguard assigned to him. The twist? The guard wasn't there to protect Sonny from danger. He was there to protect everyone else from Sonny. Crew members joked that Billy was the only man on set whose protection detail faced inward. The bodyguard's sole role was to shadow Landham, intervene if tensions rose, and ensure scenes didn't erupt into real fights. It became an infamous piece of Predator lore. The only actor who needed supervision wasn't the monster, but the warrior hunting it. Number 3. Predator's jungle may feel vast and untouched, but a surprising portion of what you see between scenes comes from an entirely different movie. To save money on helicopter runs and aerial scouts, Fox bought stock transition footage from 1984's Romancing the Stone. Sharp-eyed fans eventually noticed identical lightning flashes, tree formations, and cloud breaks. Director John McTiernan later admitted the reuse was intentional, a practical shortcut that freed the budget for creature effects instead of travel shots. It's an Easter egg hidden in plain sight. One of cinema's most iconic alien hunts is stitched together with footage from a romantic adventure. Number 4. Before the Predator became an icon, a very different performer was inside the suit. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Cast at just 26, he believed the role would showcase his martial arts agility and launch his Hollywood career. Instead, he found himself trapped inside a suffocating rubber costume, expected to perform complex stunts while nearly blind and rapidly overheating under the Mexican sun. Van Damme complained repeatedly that he couldn't breathe, couldn't move, and couldn't show his face, the one thing he believed he needed for stardom. Tensions grew when he discovered he wouldn't be credited or recognizable on screen. Within days, he clashed with producers, walked off set, and the studio quietly replaced him. Van Damme didn't become the Predator, but he became one of its most famous legends. Number 5. Before Stan Winston reshaped cinematic history, the Predator looked nothing like the towering mandible-faced hunter we know. The first creature suit, worn by Van Damme, was a bizarre, bright red insectoid design with a long neck, spindly limbs, digitigrade backwards legs, and a head shaped somewhere between an ant and a praying mantis. The suit was painted neon red, so effects artists could chroma key it against the jungle. But the design itself was the real problem. It looked awkward, flimsy, and embarrassingly unthreatening. Van Damme could barely walk in it, constantly tripping over the stilts and overheating inside the rubber shell. After reviewing test footage, the crew realized the creature simply wasn't scary. Production shut down, Winston stepped in, and the legendary Predator was born from the ashes of that goofy ant-alien prototype. Number 6. Kevin Peter Hall spent months enduring brutal heat, limited visibility, and a crushingly heavy suit to bring the Predator to life. As a quiet nod to his contribution, McTiernan cast him unmasked as the helicopter pilot who rescues Dutch in the final shot. After playing the most feared creature in the jungle, Hall becomes the man who saves the hero, a final curtain call that humanizes the legend behind the mask. It's one of the film's most heartfelt Easter eggs, giving the gentle 7'2" actor a moment of recognition after embodying cinema's ultimate hunter. Number 7. Before Predator became the lean, muscular survival thriller we know today, it began life as a wildly different screenplay titled Hunter. The early drafts didn't feature a single stalking monster but multiple alien species competing in a safari-style hunt on Earth. The human characters were observers, almost side quests in a galactic trophy competition. When Arnold signed on, he pushed the filmmakers to strip the concept down to something more primal, one elite military unit versus one unstoppable creature. That creative pivot transformed the story's DNA. The alien became a lone apex hunter. The jungle became its proving ground, and Dutch became its equal in instinct and brutality. One rewrite didn't just refine a script, it forged an action horror classic. Number 8. Predator may look like a brutally physical film, but what you see on screen is barely acting. It's the cast's real misery bleeding through. Nearly everyone suffered from diarrhea, stomach infections, and dehydration after accidentally drinking contaminated water on location. The humidity was suffocating, the terrain uneven, and the schedule relentless. Between takes, actors collapsed onto rocks, gasped for air, or wrung sweat from their shirts. McTiernan didn't hide any of it. He leaned into it. He wanted an elite team that looked like they were genuinely being chewed up by the jungle. Carl Weathers later joked, "We didn't have to act tough. We were tough because we were all barely surviving." And that exhaustion, that grit, became part of the film's DNA. Number 9. The handshake heard around the world. Dutch and Dillon's explosive, muscle-flexing reunion wasn't originally intended to become Predator's most meme-worthy moment. In the script, it was just a greeting. But once cameras rolled, Arnold and Carl Weathers turned it into a testosterone-fueled showdown of biceps.
Okay.
Each man tightening his arm just enough to outflex the other. Crew members later said the two actors competed constantly, turning even the smallest scene into a silent contest of strength. Whether the flex was fully improvised or simply exaggerated in the moment remains one of Predator's great behind-the-scenes legends. But the effect is undeniable. A simple handshake became a cinematic blast of macho energy that set the tone for the entire movie. Number 10. Predator's jungle feels eerily quiet on screen, but filming there was the opposite, a chaotic wall of sound that ruined nearly every take. Cast and crew have said the Mexican rainforest was alive with insects, birds, generators, crew equipment, and an endless roar that microphones couldn't escape. The noise floor was so high that dialogue became unusable, forcing the actors to redub most of their lines in post-production. Carl Weathers joked that the only thing quieter than the real jungle was the cinematic one. The ADR work wasn't just cleanup, it helped shape the movie's tone. That unsettling stillness audiences feel in the finished film, the quiet before every kill, was created artificially. Predator's tension wasn't just filmed, it was engineered. Number 11. Poncho's M203 grenade launcher becomes almost supernatural once the jungle firefight begins, and fans who know weapons have long noticed why. He fires far more 40mm grenades than the launcher could ever physically hold. But this wasn't a mistake. It was a stylistic choice. The prop department openly admitted they ignored realism to make the squad feel mythic, exaggerated, and larger than life. In the 80s, action logic trumped mechanical logic. On set, the running joke was that Poncho's ammo is a cast member too, because it behaved like it had a personality, endlessly refilling itself whenever the plot demanded firepower. Number 12. Predator's opening starfield and spaceship approach weren't filmed for Predator at all. They were recycled from the 1985 sci-fi adventure explorers, after Fox realized they could slash the effects budget by reusing existing assets. The footage was repurposed multiple times, appearing again in 1986's Space Camp and even early test reels for the X-Files. It means Predator begins not with a unique visual, but with shared sci-fi DNA that traveled across several productions. The alien hunter's first appearance in cinema is literally a reused shot, quietly tying Predator into an unexpected lineage of forgotten 80s space movies. Number 13. Arnold's iconic cigar light moment in the helicopter was more complicated than it looks. The first take used a real flame, but aviation safety officers immediately flagged it. Open flames inside aircraft interiors are strictly forbidden. The crew refilmed the shot with an unlit cigar, planning to add the flame digitally later. But here's the Easter egg. Editors accidentally inserted pieces of both versions into the final cut. The cigar magically changes length between shots, a blink and miss continuity glitch that reveals the scene's strange production history. The illicit original shot still survives, hidden in the very movie that wasn't supposed to use it. Number 14. Before the Predator ever copies human voices, it listens to the jungle. Those eerie, slightly wrong chirps around the early camp scenes are actually the creature's first attempts at mimicry, sampling local wildlife, learning patterns, and building an audio map of its environment. As it evolves, the sound designers mix human laughs, reversed breaths, pig squeals, and rattlesnake warnings into its vocal library, turning its mimicry into a terrifying weapon. When it repeats human lines later, it isn't just copying, It's demonstrating dominance, wearing its victims' voices like trophies. The predator hunts with sound as much as strength. Number 15. Predator may look sunblasted and brutally bright, but the real Mexican jungle was the opposite. Dark, suffocating, and nearly impossible to light. Cinematographer Donald McAlpine said the canopy swallowed daylight so completely that the cast often couldn't see each other between takes. To fix this, the crew hauled in massive stadium-grade lighting rigs, the kind used for nighttime sports events, and hid them behind trees, rocks, and foliage to mimic natural sunlight. The lights burned so hot that foliage sometimes scorched or wilted, forcing the crew to constantly rearrange the environment just to keep it believable. Ironically, one of cinema's most sunlit action movies was shot under shadows so dense that artificial daylight became its own invisible character. Number 16. Dutch's triumphant roar after crushing the predator feels like a raw human victory cry, but listen closer and it becomes something else. Sound designers layered Arnold's voice with recordings of tigers, boars, and elephants to create a hybrid animalistic bellow. The effect is subtle but powerful. Dutch sounds less like a man celebrating survival and more like a creature claiming territory. It's the final stage of his transformation, blurring the line between civilization and savagery. In the moment he wins, he has fully embraced the feral instincts of the jungle, matching the predator's brutality beat for beat. Number 17. The heavy rhythmic thuds you hear whenever the invisible predator moves through the jungle aren't just random sound effects. The designers wanted something that felt animalistic, but not tied to any specific creature. A presence that suggested mass, power, and predatory elegance all at once. Their solution was brilliant. They layered slowed down horse gallops, stretched and pitch shifted until they became something impossibly large. The result gives the predator's footsteps an uncanny mix of grace and terror. It sounds familiar, but wrong. The kind of noise your brain recognizes as alive, even though you can't place the species. Number 18. Dillon's crisp CIA uniform patch looks official at first glance, but military historians quickly noticed something strange. The division it represents didn't exist in 1987. Wardrobe confirmed it was intentional. A wink at the CIA's real-world habit of renaming, erasing, or shifting departments depending on political needs. It's a meta joke baked into the costume design. Dillon is a professional liar, operating in shadows and half-truths, and even his uniform participates in the deception. The patch is a visual Easter egg about the character himself. Nothing he wears, says, or represents is ever exactly what it seems. Number 19. The Predator's communication isn't random noise. It's layered design. When its wrist gauntlet activates the self-destruct sequence, the beeping begins with intervals resembling structured SOS-like patterns before accelerating into pure countdown chaos. Sound engineers confirmed that the creature's roar is equally complex, a blend of alligator bellows, metal scrapes, animal snarls, and, most disturbingly, a human breath played backward. These audio elements create an instinctively unsettling effect, as if the predator's language sits halfway between machine, beast, and man. Its technology doesn't just signal destruction, it speaks through rhythm, breath, and ritual, hinting at a culture with traditions encoded into every sound it makes. Number 20. That iconic shot of Dutch rising from the water, coated head to toe in gray mud, hides a brutal truth. None of it was real mud. Actual mud reflected too much light for the thermal vision cameras, ruining the Predator POV shots, so the effects team mixed a custom clay paste that looked perfect on film, but stayed ice cold no matter how long Arnold wore it. For hours at a time, he sat drenched in the freezing mixture, unable to warm up under the night air of the Mexican jungle. Crew members surrounded him with heaters, but they barely helped. The clay insulated the cold instead of the heat. Schwarzenegger later said those scenes were the coldest I've ever been in my life, including Austria, and it shows in every shiver you see on screen. The hunt may be over, but the jungle never sleeps. Every frame of Predator hides another clue, another secret, another detail waiting for the right set of eyes to find it. Which weird fact surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts below and tell us what movie we should break down next. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss the next hunt. Until then, stay quiet, stay sharp, and always watch the treetops. The Predator is never far.